right, so I'm gonna start and just go around the names, okay? And we'll try and identify everything. So these coming down, and you see how these coming up are your dermal papilla, and these coming down that are complementary are going to be your epidermal pegs or your epidermal ridges, okay? So then that's the dermal papilla. These little blood vessels here are going to be your subcutaneous vascular plexus, those, okay? Because the ones down here are your dermal vascular plexus. So that's subcutaneous, and that one's either cutaneous or dermal, okay? Sweat pore, that opening right, actually up here, they gotta be outside, okay? So these little holes right there, all of those are your pores to your sweat glands. The different types of glands that we're gonna have. So we have an eccrine sweat gland, which is this one, because its duct, which is that tube, right, opens to the surface. If it were an apocrine, its duct would open into the hair follicle. Erector pili muscle. Sebaceous gland, this number or that one. Hair follicle, okay? So now here, all this gray tube that's on the outside, all of that is your hair follicle. And this one, I think, has A, B, C, D, E, F, G, has 7 layers, okay? So here we can see A, the white line, is the medulla of the hair. B is the cortex of the hair. C would be that white line there, is the cuticle of the hair. D is that pink there, that is your internal epithelial, and I'm gonna add all the names because some will call it one thing, but I think however it's written in your lab manual, I learned it as the internal epithelial root sheath, all those names, but it's abbreviated in your lab manual. So here's your internal epithelial root sheath, that's D. E is your external epithelial root sheath. F is that silvery line right there that ours looks like a hot pink when it's stained, that's your glassy membrane. The G is the connective tissue on the outside, so it's your peripheral connective tissue root sheath, okay? So you have all the layers of the hair follicle and the hair itself, okay? The root, all right? So I would have of the hair, all this part here is your root, okay? Because the parts of a hair, if I look at it longitudinally, are gonna be shaft, root, bulb, okay? Your dermal vascular plexus are these that are down here. All of this is adipose tissue in your hypodermis that isn't part of your skin. The nervous structures, sensory nerve fiber with free nerve endings, okay? I don't see one here on the follicle. I think the other model has the nerves. We'll look at that one later, okay? So I don't see those nerves. The tactile corpuscle or the Meissner's corpuscle is that one right there, okay? The lamellar corpuscle or the Pacinian corpuscle is that one right there. And again, the hair follicle receptor, I don't see any of the nerve endings here. So if I put a bracket here and I ask you what's the name of this layer, it is the hypodermis, which isn't part of the skin. If I ask you what's all this, that's your dermis. If I ask you what's all that, it's your epidermis, okay?
Can you also say that the hypodermis is subcutaneous?
Yes, you can. Hypodermis is the subcutaneous because it's below the skin.
Adipose?
If I ask you what type of tissue.
Okay.
If I ask you the name of the layer, don't tell me adipose because it's wrong. Right? Yes, you're right. That's what, but that wasn't what I was asking. Yeah. You've got all of this then is your dermis, and the dermis has 2 parts to it. This part up here that on the other model, they've made like a difference. So from those blood vessels up is our papillary layer. Type of tissue is a loose areolar connective tissue proper. Down here is our reticular layer, dense irregular connective tissue proper, okay? If we look at the epidermis, you can see the layers. Stratum corneum, stratum granulosum, stratum spinosum, and stratum basale. Now here I should have thick skin. No, I have thin skin, that's fine. This one's fine. The other one shows you the difference between thick and thin, having the stratum lucidum. So let me get the other one. This part here is thin skin. So I've got a stratum corneum, stratum granulosum, stratum spinosum, stratum basale. Here, I've got thick skin, stratum corneum, stratum lucidum, stratum granulosum, stratum spinosum, stratum basale. And again, you've got Meissner's corpuscles, Pacinian corpuscles, okay? But that one you see has a better subcutaneous vascular plexus, but this one has the free nerve endings. This one really shouldn't go up that high, all right? It's okay, but that's a free nerve endings. These that are coming here, that one are the hair follicle receptors, okay? Or the hair root plexus, all right? So those are the different nerves that you can see there. But that's, again, a erector pili muscle. Oh, I thought it was this one, but maybe it isn't. I should see a reticular layer, a reticular layer, a papillary layer. This one, I think it's missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And you got F on the ball.
6. So this one's got a nice matrix because that kind of gives you the idea of the three-dimensional matrix. We didn't call that. That's also the papilla of the hair. So this coming up is the dermal papilla, but that's the papilla of the hair, right? This one coming in there. So I would call that the matrix. At the other one, you really can't tell. It's all the same color, but here you can tell they painted it a different color.